Welcome everyone. I'm not going to keep my presentation 45 minutes long because I want to give you the chance to ask questions, any questions you might have. There's also a chat option on top of the Q&A option, so you have plenty of opportunities, and we'll keep it monitored, and if I can, I'll answer any questions as we go along. If not, we'll answer some of those at the end. We also have one of our students joining us today to talk about his experience with us and so on, and he's just in his final year and finishing up soon. And I'll pass him on to you for his presentation once I'm done with mine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to switch between a presentation and some videos as well to show what we do normally with the students. So this is kind of an outline. This shows what brings us to studying and working in geography and environmental science. It's all the global issues that the world is facing today that really interest us as a school and also are of interest to our students. So we go from climate change, which is now widely accepted as being happening, to overpopulation, dwindling resources like water, soil, forest, changes in biodiversity and pollution. These are just some of the things that we work on as a school, and also that we are part of our core teaching. So all of these global issues are really tracked throughout our degrees and throughout all of our modules. So our school has around 20 academic staff, and it's also supported by additional technical staff and admin staff. We also have a big cohort of PhD researchers and postdoctoral researchers that also contribute to our teaching activities, especially when we're out in the field or in the lab. At the moment, we have around 300 undergraduate students and over 150 postgraduate students. We're really, really a friendly school. We have an open door policy, so students can come and see us at any time. They can knock on the door and come in. Most of us are around Monday to Friday every day, so it's not an issue to contact us. We come from all over the world, as you can gather from my accent. I'm not exactly local. I'm originally from Italy. We have staff from Germany, from the States, from Pakistan, from the Republic of Ireland, the rest of the UK, and we have lots of our PhD researchers and postdoctoral researchers are also from abroad. So we really have a vibrant and international community that supports our teaching and our research as well. And you just see a snapshot on the photos of some of our activities that we work on. We offer 3 degree programs at bachelor level, 2 for next academic year, but we also have a third one that's starting in 2021. So at the moment we're offering geography and environmental science degrees. Both of them have the option for students to undertake either work placement or industrial placement or a study abroad opportunity. They also come as combined subjects, so that you can study geography with psychology or geography with education, and the same for environmental sciences. And they're accredited by the International Environmental Science Institute. So both of the degrees require BCC grades, and although we have no strict requirements with the incoming subjects, we recommend that you would have done geography or science subjects coming into the relevant discipline, and that's just to help you and support you throughout the program. But even if you don't have these subjects, we have opportunities for students to be supported and catch up perhaps on some of the missing background that they might have. We also have the option of students that are not meeting asking grade actually to, again, being supported through additional activities so that they still have a choice to come to us if they wanted to. The best way to basically come to us is to make us your first choice on the UCAS application, and that's the best way to ensure a place on the course. The geography degrees covers both human and physical geography, so it has a good balance between the two aspects of geography. As I mentioned, in September 2021, we're also starting a new marine science degree, which at the moment is only offered as a pathway within environmental science. That covers lots of different aspects of studying marine science, from biological to physical and chemical oceanography, ecology, human impacts on the marine environment. All of our degrees have field trips and lab work, and they give you lots of opportunities actually to practice employable skills. So the outline of the degree is like this. In your first year, you would study the fundamentals, so the science basically that underpins all that you'll be doing in the following 2 or 3 years. In year 2, we look at the processes and skills that you need to, the processes in the environment or within geography, and the skills that you need to develop as well to use all of the knowledge that you have acquired in first year. And then in final year, you really get to apply all of these information and skills that you have developed in year 1 and year 2, and really focus on what are employability skills and things that you can then be doing in your own future work. If you're taking the option of an industrial placement or a study abroad placement, you would do that in your 3rd year, and then you come back and finish your final year with us. And the work placement and the study abroad placement give you an additional diploma. So it's an additional qualification. It's an add-on to your degree. The nice thing about studying geography with us, sorry, I see a raised hand. I'll just stop my screen for a second. Was there anything you wanted to ask us? If you type it in the question and answer session or in the chat, we'll be able to see it. Or perhaps if it was a mistake, don't worry about it. I just noticed the raise hand when I was talking. I don't see anyone coming in, so I'll just share my screen again and move on. So our campus is really in an optimal location for studying both geography and environmental science. It's a great natural laboratory, and really we tend to spend quite a good amount of time out in the field with the students, and that's within any of our degrees. So from geography to environmental science to marine science. We have several field trips, both home and overseas, and I'm just going to show you some of those opportunities that we have for the students with our videos that we would do with them in the field. So for example, the 2nd year environmental science students go to Portugal, and they get to really to experience the local environment and the local kind of human impact on the environment in Algarve. This is a week-long residential field trip where we also engage with local communities and local experts to investigate really what are the human impacts on the environment of the Algarve. So we would look at things like coastal management, land use, water shortage, and so on. The geography students tend to go in a different location to the environmental science students. They might be going to Greece or Spain. Sometimes they would have even gone as far as Africa. But here now you see an example from our 1st year field trip to Donegal, and it really shows you that we have a great opportunity for students to learn things firsthand, even close by. So on the first week, normally, or first year, we take all of our students out and really start looking at some of the techniques that we would develop over the years and some of the ways we have to study an environment. So as I was saying, we do have all of these opportunities open to all of our students. These are basically compulsory parts of our degrees. All of our students get to go out in the field, both locally and internationally. As I was saying, we really try to develop in our students employable skills. So skills that they can use once they complete their degree and they want to go out in the workplace. Lots of our focus is on geographic information systems and remote sensing, either from satellite imagery to also the marine environment. And these GIS skills are actually really embedded into lots of different modules. So it's not just one different topic or one different module that you will be taking, but you will be experiencing, you will be getting experience with these different skills in different settings. We have a vibrant community of undergraduate students, and it shows as well in some of the societies that our students are members of, and they actually lead, including the Geography and Environmental Society and the Surf Club. And they do both activities that are just more for enjoying themselves and learning new things like surfing, but they also engage with local communities, and they do things like beach cleanup, education activities, and so on. So there's really lots going on the North Coast that is not just about simply studying in a lecture theatre. As I was saying, the industrial placement normally is done in your third year if you decide to do so. And the nice thing is that you can decide up to the end of your second year if you want to do this placement or not. So it's not something that you need to decide beforehand, but you can really kind of consider what your options are, and you will get the chance to speak to a dedicated work placement coordinator and see what your options are. You see in this image actually one of our students working in an engineering company over in the UK, and you also see some of the partners that we work with in terms of our students getting a placement, and they go from different government agencies in Northern Ireland to private companies, even organizations in the Republic. What we notice with our students is that they're more likely to achieve a higher final degree classification if they have an industrial placement or a study placement, and they're more likely to get in full-time professional employment within 6 months of graduating. And as I mentioned, it's an extra diploma on graduation. Similar for the study abroad program, you can go and study in a foreign university for a full academic year. And you see here the range of locations where that can happen. They go from French Polynesia to Canada, Australia, Germany, lots of different opportunities within Europe. And some of these placement opportunities are in places where they teach in English. So even if you don't know a foreign language, you still have the opportunity to do so. We know that 66% of our graduates are actually in professional employment or further study within 6 months. And if we consider all kind of employment opportunity, that increases to 92%. So within 6 months of graduating, most of our students have a good professional job, or they have continue in academic studies. And here you have really a range of lots of different careers that you can end up with a degree in geography and environmental science from us. So they go from being a teacher to being a consultant ecology, forensic officer, financial advisor, planner, so lots of different opportunities. We're really good school, and this is really shown by the National Student Survey results. Over the last 6 years, we had 100% overall satisfaction in the National Student Survey for both geography, environmental science, and marine science. So we're really #1 course for student satisfaction in Northern Ireland. We also won one of the university two of the University Academic Excellence Awards in 2018-19. We were 2 out of the 4 degrees in total being awarded academic excellence based on performance out of 130 courses within the university. This academic excellence is established based on things like student satisfaction, staff-student ratio, how well our graduates are doing once they go out in the workplace, how well their final degree classification, and so on. So it really shows all the effort that we put into our students. And actually, what we've decided to do with these academic excellence awards is dedicate them to our students. And for the next 7 years, we'll be having prizes for all of our students based on their academic performance. So we have prizes for year 1, year 2, and final years for both geography, environmental science and marine science students, as well as prizes for best dissertation in final year. So we really have decided to put these awards back into our students. We have a few postcard opportunities as well. So if you do your Bachelor of Science with us in both geography and environmental science, and then you decide that you want to develop some of those skills even further, you can stay with us for an MSc. Just we're close to the end, but one of the things that makes us really proud and that I wanted to point out is that we are ranked the first university in Northern Ireland for geography and environmental studies in the Guardian 2020 league table for universities. So we are first in Northern Ireland and 12th in the UK out of 66 universities. And this in these tables, UK university are ranked based on course satisfaction, teaching satisfaction. So it's based on what the students feel about the courses, also what the staff-student ratio is, career opportunities, and so on. So just to conclude, and then I'll pass on to Luke, or I'll answer any questions that you might have. We're really a good course. We have 100% student satisfaction. We are the top ranked university in Northern Ireland for geography and environmental studies. All of our students offer the opportunity to study abroad or have a work placement. All of our students really develop highly sought after employable skills like GIS and remote sensing. And around 80% of our students graduate with a first or a 2-1. And all of this is underpinned by really our international outlook as a school. We do have research presence in 5 continents, 2 planets, 3 world oceans, and these are all the things that we talk about with our students, and we try to really teach them what's most up-to-date science and what's relevant for society and also for the well-being of the world as we move on. So I'll stop sharing my presentation. I'll see if you have any questions, and then we'll move on to Luke's presentation. So I see that Paul is answering away, so I'll pass on to Luke. Luke is one of our students, and he can tell us a bit more about his experience as a student. Luke, you can go ahead whenever you.
No worries, thank you, Sarah. So yeah, guys, as Sarah was saying, I'm a final year student here at UUC. I started in 2016 and I've just finished there recently. So as Sarah was saying, the course really is fantastic. There's like a lot to offer within it, and it sort of covers more or less every aspect of environmental science, from sort of geography to marine. Like a lot of yourselves, whenever I started off choosing universities, there was quite a few to choose from, but I decided to come to Ulster after open days and events like this. I'd wanted to study marine biology, but I had several other offers. But it was through talking with staff like Sarah and some of the others that I realised this environmental science course offers me extra things that aren't available in some of the courses. You know, for example, you have your optional placement year, and you have the ability to use the GIS that Sarah was talking about, which is a fantastic system that a lot of employers are really looking for in people coming out of university because it's just so applicable. So just sort of a general idea what you sort of learn in the course. You basically learn almost every component there is in the environment. You study everything from like freshwater, marine, the atmosphere, biological, geological components. So there really is something for everyone. And a great part of our course is that geography and environmental science share a lot of the same sort of modules and courses right the way from first year to second year. So if you start off, say, for example, in geography and you find that, oh, I actually quite like a lot more of the environmental science based side of it, you can easily switch between the two. As well, don't be thinking you have to come into this with like a real deep background in science. I know myself, I did quite a lot of science subjects at A level, but I have friends who were predominantly in, say, like maths, ICT, agricultural science, and they've done absolutely fantastic as well. Like it really is a course that's open for everyone to come in. So don't be thinking that you're maybe restricted by some of your GCSE choices. You know, the starting level in first year really is, you know, an even playing field. Everybody has the chance to do really well. Um, as well, you begin to specialize your degree towards final year, towards your interests. So I'm doing the marine pathway, and so I'm specializing in like submarine biology and the physical components of the ocean. And you have a fantastic range of field trips to go on to. Likes of Portugal and Donegal is great because you actually put into practice the things you've learned in class, but also it's a really great way to, you know, make friends and get closer with the people that you're actually in university with. And you do a lot of practical experience too. You're not just sitting in a lecture 5 days a week listening to someone talk. You're actually getting out into either the lab and seeing what you've been discussing in practice, you know, be it different techniques or things, or like, for example, looking at sediments and seeing how, oh, yes, this maybe relates to some sort of past glacial action, or actually going out in the field and seeing these physical features firsthand. And of course, you get that really good knowledge of how to use GIS. So here's just a few snapshots from some of my time at university with some projects that I've actually made using GIS in the top left-hand corner in the middle. You know, these are the likes of some of the maps that you'd be able to create. And as I was saying, a lot of employers are looking for people with this skill because this could be really useful for people or companies in deciding where they're going to build something, where, you know, they would like to know where people live, things like that. With some of the field trips from Portugal, where we were out looking at wave action. Down in the bottom left there, we've actually a picture of some glacial sediments. So the likes of what I was saying, where you were learning, you know, past events taking place, you actually do get to go out and see these firsthand. You're not just looking at a book or looking at slides. You know, you get to see it and appreciate it. And then actually some work for my dissertation. Although I'm predominantly sort of focusing in marine aspects, for my dissertation, I actually did it on microbiology, you know, how bacteria can transfer antibiotics to one another. So you can end up doing a wide range of different sort of studies or different sort of things that interest you. You know, you're not just limited, there's a whole range of opportunities for you. And then placement year, as Sarah was saying, I think this is honestly one of the best things about the course because the placement year is absolutely fantastic. It's great because it gives you a much better chance of coming out with a job at the end of your degree, but even more so, it actually is very, very useful for showing you, you know, perhaps what career path you'd like to go down. So, for example, before I went on placement, I didn't really have a great idea of what I'd like to do. I knew it was something sort of marine based. So I did my placement with the Lochs Agency in what was known as aquaculture. So we were essentially on Loch Foyle, making sure that the oyster bed there was healthy and wasn't being overfished. And I actually found I really, really enjoyed it. It was the exact type of work I wanted to do, you know, being out working with your hands out in the open, not being stuck in an office all day. But I'm 100% sure that if I didn't have that opportunity for this placement year, I would never have really figured that out by myself, or it would have took me much longer getting there. So now I have a really good defined career route I want to go down. And likewise, many of my friends are the exact same. After coming back from their placement, they know exactly what they want to do and where they want to apply for. But also the year abroad, studying in another university is also fantastic. Like a lot of other people, whenever they went there and have come back, have said, yeah, I'd actually like to go back to that university to maybe do a postgraduate degree or even work and live out there. So there really is great options for you. Here's just some of the photos from my time at the office. We were, as I say, working with the oysters out in Lough Foyle, but we also did other things. We did different invertebrate samples, checking over different animals, like say starfishes and how they were doing. So even on my job, though it was mostly just sort of focused on one aspect, I got to see a wide range of activities. So as I was saying before there, I definitely think the placement year was one of my best sort of experiences. It was really great, and it sort of set me up for what I want to do. And some of the friends and memories you make are absolutely amazing. Like Sarah was saying, we have a wide range of fantastic sort of clubs and student activities. I myself play for the rugby team, and I've had 4 great years with them. If you love sports as well, Ulster is definitely the place for you because there's so many different sports teams. You have everything from say football, badminton, rugby, all the way up to fencing, and everything else in between. Uh, my plan sort of now is to hopefully apply for a summer bursary scheme with the Marine Institute, but unfortunately at the minute that's a bit in limbo just with the whole coronavirus situation. But the ultimate sort of goal I'd like to achieve or I'm aiming for is going over to New Zealand or Australia to work over in their aquaculture industries, because it's somewhere I'd really like to work, and also some of the scenery over there is absolutely fantastic. I'll just sort of finish up by saying that Ulster University is honestly fantastic. I would just say to you, don't be swayed by what people say, because as Sarah was saying there, we are a fantastic university. We've great student satisfaction. The lecturers are brilliant. They're really friendly, very easy to talk to, and they're always willing to help you. And likewise, this course offers many things that most don't, be it that placement year or the ability to learn and use GIS. And with great student facilities too. Like, for example, the student accommodation up in the uni is fantastic. It's a great way to make friends. There's lots of lovely houses as well in Portstewart for your second year whenever you start living with other people. And with great student nightlife and other facilities as well down here. So there really is something for everyone at Ulster and on this course. Uh, yeah, so that's more or less me finished. I'll just hand back over to Sarah. And as she was saying, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you, Luke. There was a question on the question and answer, and I kind of started typing the answer, and I might have made I might have dismissed it by mistake. There was a question about marine science and what opportunities for employment there are. And if they're mostly abroad, there's actually lots of different opportunities within Northern Ireland and within the island of Ireland. Look, you can stop sharing your screen.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize it was there. There we go.
Okay. So I was saying there's plenty of opportunities, even within the Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, from government agencies. As Luke mentioned, we have the Loch Agency in Northern Ireland. There's also AFBI, and there's the Northern Ireland Environmental Agencies. There's different companies as well that work in marine science topics. Some are related to ocean energy, some are related to basically remote sensing of the seafloor. So there's lots of different local opportunities as well. And there's more opportunities even farther abroad. So I hope that answered the question. And I can't see who asked it in the first place, but there it is for you. If you have any further question, we can just type them in and we'll try to answer as we go along. We're still here for a little bit, so feel free to go.
Yeah, guys, as well. So just to back up what Sarah was saying, there is plenty of marine opportunities over here in Northern Ireland. I know sometimes people might think a lot of it's abroad. I know I definitely had that sort of opinion as well, but it was after placement. I realised there is quite a lot here. Sarah had mentioned a few there. There's also the Marine Institute, which has offices in Galway, Dublin, and Cork, and they cover a wide range of things, be it similar to what I was doing with aquaculture, but also they study like marine animals, how they interact. And a load of other things. So there is the opportunities here for you. Don't be feeling that you're maybe forced to go abroad. There's loads of work here for you in that industry.
I can see you're all very quiet, perhaps a bit worried about asking questions, but really we will try to answer any questions that you might have, and you can even follow up with us at a later stage with any of our course directors. So we have course director for geography, one for environmental science, and one for marine science. And Paul McKenzie, who's also online today, he's the academic lead. So he's the person that's basically deals with all learning and teaching matters in the school. So he's another point of reference for you if you have any questions in the future. But really, I know that perhaps some of you might be worried about what's going to happen with COVID-19 and other aspects of going into university. But you can kind of rest assured that we're really planning for it. So there's a question about common A levels taken by students who then go into this course. Perhaps I'll let Paul answer that. And there's also a question about accommodation. Michael might be better able to answer the one about accommodation.
No worries, Paul. You going ahead there?
Yeah, I'm going to type an answer because I can think better when I type. So.
All right. Okay. I'm going to answer. Yeah, I'm going to answer live just to the accommodation query. So, just somebody just asked, or Claire, sorry, Claire, but in regards to accommodation, when will applications open for that? So, hopefully back in the school in September, you'll then be applying through UCAS. And then the applications open really anytime around there, usually around Christmas time. You'll be able to apply just through our website. You go for the accommodation links, will be all on the website. There is a accommodation up at Coleraine on campus, which a lot of first year students would tend to make use of. It can just help with adapting to life at university. It can just help you settling in. The guys that work in the accommodation team be very proactive, setting up various activities and events for students to get involved in. So that is a good help with you in terms of your transition. And how will leaving cert be affected if our exams are cancelled? So I'll take it then, Claire, you're just considering applying from the south. So as you know, it's slightly different just going through UCAS than the CAO. You will only get your 5 options on your form, for example, and the closing date is sooner. It's the 15th of January for UCAS applications as opposed to your CAO, which will go into March. But your leaving cert really, if they're cancelled, the previous exams don't really come into it, even from students here, in terms of what the university would be looking for would be your predicted grades. So it'll be based on what your tutor, your lecturer, or your school, whoever does a reference for you in your school, then will put down your predicted grades. And if those predicted grades match the grades that are the entry qualifications for the course, then the university then will make you an offer for that. So Paul was just answering a query there. Just there are no specific entry requirements onto the course. You know, you can, always good to have an interest and a passion in the area. But in terms of qualifications through your school, you don't need to be doing any particular course to lead on to get on to do that course. All right. So hopefully if that has answered your question, okay. If it doesn't, feel free to come back and ask me anything else that I haven't been clear about there.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. I was just typing to Claire. I think Claire and I have had a Skype meeting before. So just get in touch with us, Claire, because there are options from the Irish Leaving Cert. So if it comes to the point and you're unsure about anything, just get in touch with myself, Sarah, anybody in the school, and we'll try and talk you through whatever options are available. webinar being recorded? Yes, Michael is recording it.
Yeah.
Michael's going to send it to me, and we can send that out either between Michael or myself. So yeah, it should be recorded. Yeah.
Nothing really do, but due to coronavirus and year 13's getting predicted grades, will uni still use these predictions making? Yeah, so I'm happy enough to answer that one, Paul. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Michael.
So as I was saying, basically, yes, you would have sat your AS, and that would have been a guide for you in terms of going back into school for your year 14. But university in past wouldn't tend to make offers based on AS grades. The university would make that based on your predicted grades that your school would think that you're going to get. So whenever the time comes of doing your UCAS form, you then will be doing your personal statement, and then that you also get a reference from your school, and then also then your school will be putting your predicted grades for the subjects that you're studying. So it's based on those grades that the university then would make you an offer. So as year 13s aren't doing their AS, don't feel it'll go against you in any way. University obviously as well understandable of the situation, what we're going through, everybody's going through, and then as I say, the grades then will be based on your predicted grades from your year 14. Okay.
If I can add something to this as well, we are working closely with admissions. Even now with COVID-19, but even normally when it's August time and offers are made and so on. So even if something happens and students don't make the entry requirements, as I was saying, there are different options to still kind of try and basically receive an offer based on ways to make up for missing grades, for example. So that's always, there are opportunities there that should be discussed and can be discussed with admissions and the school. And please, the admissions team is always very happy to try and chat with people about what the options are, and Paul as well. So do not hesitate to contact us. So that, there's a question from Daniel about the ratio of human and physical elements within the geography course. We really try to achieve a good balance, so around 50-50. I know Paul is going to type an answer now and give you an outline of some of the subjects that we teach to just show this a bit better. There are some compulsory modules in our degrees, and then there are some optional modules. So the compulsory modules basically aim to give all students a well-rounded knowledge in the subject, and then the optional modules give you really the opportunity to try and basically develop your knowledge on the subject for those aspects that you might be more interested in. So what we see is that we have students that might be more interested in human geography, and they take optional modules that are more in human geography, and others that would take optional modules that are more in physical geography. We also have a dissertation project that's completed in final year, and that's often a chance for students as well to pick a topic that's more up to what their interests are. So in terms of modules, we go for a good balance, but then you have the opportunities to focus on what you're more interested in. I hope that answers your query, Daniel.
Thanks, Sarah. And just to reinforce just what Sarah was also just mentioned there, just about opportunities and come to the university. We will have a series of open days, hopefully, if things get back to some sort of normality, or in September time. So your schools have the opportunity to register for those various days. And there is open days taking place on the Friday and Saturday up at our our Coleraine campus, where the course is obviously taught. Paul and the guys will all be there on that day. They'll get to see around. There is a presentation, but the good thing also is that there's a bit of a tour, and you get to see around the facilities and see around the course and what you'll be using and the materials and the really hands-on part of the course. So that'll take place, as I say, the dates are on there for schools. Your school will be hopefully registering to go along to that. and then in a few weeks' time, hopefully towards the end of May, start of June, then students will be able to register for those different open days, and as part of that, there'll be talks and tours and stuff off the campus. So do, as I say, keep an eye out for that on our website, and you'll be able to register for those open days. Claire's just asked, will first years be starting in September, or will it be delayed due to COVID? I've really no further information on that just at the minute. The university, I'll just lead it if you guys just want to come in, but as far as my knowledge is, the university's just following the government guidelines on that at the minute. There's nothing set of when universities are going to come back. The universities are planning for both instances in terms of students being able to come back on the campus, but also if students don't come back on, and how that teaching is going to be delivered. So at the minute, there's nothing set in place. Sarah, do you know anything different?
Well, we are planning for all kind of scenarios, really. I mean, obviously, if students are physically on campus in September, we'll just resume our teaching as normal. But if they're not on campus for one reason or another, we're looking at opportunities for doing something that, would be referred to as blended learning. So still offer some small group teaching where social distancing can be achieved, but then have, for example, online lectures that students could attend from their own house, so to minimize any social contact. So the university is planning for all different scenarios, and obviously if we're thinking, especially for our degrees where skills and fieldwork is important, the possibility of doing some of those things at a later stage in the academic year or throughout the degree, so that our students don't miss out on those opportunities. So we don't have huge numbers, and we often sometimes run practical and fieldwork with smaller groups. So it doesn't come, the kind of organization of these things doesn't come as a surprise to us. And we're really working hard to be ready for the students in September, even if it's not entirely on campus.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, guys, so some great questions there.
Yeah, I also know that Paul will follow up perhaps with an email that will give you a link to our different social media accounts. So we have a YouTube channel where you'll be able to see some of the videos from our course director, and also some of our students perhaps in the work placement or in the field. We also have a Twitter account. We use that Twitter account to also disseminate with our students work opportunities and so on. Not only what we do as a school in terms of teaching activities, field work and research, but also we keep that as a channel to really make sure our students know about future work opportunities and study opportunities after their degree.
Yeah. And Claire's just come in. Do you want to go on ahead there, Paul? Or?
There's a question there about will it apply to any students. Do you want to add anything, Michael? Or
yeah, I was just going to say, obviously it'll apply to everybody that's starting university, so there'll be no difference between UK students, Northern Ireland students, Republic of Ireland students. So the how the university introduces students back on the campus, as I say, will be taking a lead through, whether that's based on a number of people that can be on, or if it's everything's all back to normal by that stage, we just don't know. So I know if they are doing exams, that there's not much of a break, but if the university has a date for coming back, then that will apply to everybody to resume their studies at that time. If everybody can come back on the campus at that time, but if it's more of smaller numbers that are reintroduced, then obviously then that might have an impact on the people that come on the campus at one time. But we just don't know at this stage.
But even from that point of view, Claire, it wouldn't be a case where somebody from the Republic would be treated differently than somebody from Northern Ireland or anything else. It would just be, we would try and divide classes up into manageable groups, as Sarah said.
Absolutely.
So just, you won't be disadvantaged, really.
Absolutely.
Just